Yeah, it's like I can't keep doing
You only have 3 written down. And the second one's not a question.
Well, these are shorthand. Because I know what they are.
Okay.
And my third one, I know what that is too.
Okay.
So, all right.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Travis from Thrive Fitness, and we are back with episode number 46 of Thrive TV, question and answer session with Jerry. How are you today?
Pretty great. How are you?
I'm awesome.
Yeah?
Awesome, yeah.
You said your hips feeling better today?
Yes.
Don't feel bad. I've kept something a secret.
Oh, it's confession time. Yes. What?
You only get this. I don't know why this happens. Anyway.
But.
So, thus far, and I know what you're going to say. This is 100% from me sitting too much.
Okay.
Okay, it's 100% my fault. So, Saturday, my buddy and I, do you know Kyle? Mm-hmm. You met Kyle, huh? We were out throwing the football around.
Yeah.
We were breaking and entering at Highlands Field. So anyway, we were throwing the football. Maybe there's a little karma there, but we were throwing the football around, and 20 minutes or 30 minutes into it, because he said he had strained his hamstring. He was still playing semi-pro football for a while, and he hurt his hamstring playing football. And he said he had done that a couple months ago. So anyway, we're throwing the football around, and all of a sudden he pulls up and he's like, "Oh, done. No more running. Hurt my hamstring again." It wasn't bad, but it was just enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "All right." He's like, "All right. Well, I'll just throw it around to you." So I'm running around, and finally, anyway, he throws a. It's called a post to me. You just run down the field as far as you can, as fast as you can. And he throws it up in the air pretty good, and I had to run pretty hard to get under it.
Yeah.
And I heard my hip flexor pop.
Oh, that's why Saturday evening you were standing there messing around.
Yeah.
And you said it was just tight.
Well, it's true. It's not bad. It's just stiff still.
Now, is this not the second injury for you in the past couple of months?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. It's from sitting.
Okay.
It is. Because it's... So, my hip flexors... So, when you sit, you have a tendency... Your hip flexors shorten, and your hamstrings shorten.
Okay.
From sitting.
Yes.
I've hurt my hamstring, and I've hurt my hip flexors.
Okay.
Okay? So...
I see. You need to stand and work on your laptop.
Yeah. I need to talk to the boss and get a standing desk. How's that sound? I'll make sure I talk to him.
Yeah, go to management.
I don't know if they'll fit in the budget, though, so I'll have to ask him.
Look here, you can put your little laptop right there and stand. That's perfect on that ledge.
That's pretty good height.
That's what I do at work. Sometimes I just stand up and lay my screen back and type because I honestly sit all day long.
Yeah.
All day long. So now I take a ball to work with me.
Yeah.
And I get up.
Lacrosse ball.
Yeah, and I get up and
that's smart.
Yeah, and it's helped. It's made a lot of difference.
That's good.
So yeah, $2.99 at Dick's. All different colors now.
Yeah, you got a pink one.
I got a hot pink one. So
Smells like bubble gum.
Well, I'm glad you're.
So it's funny. We're walking out. We were leaving after I got hurt.
Did you fess up and tell him you got hurt?
Yeah, I was like, I dropped the ball and I bent over and I stood up and I was like, well, that's 2 of us. And he starts laughing. So we're walking off the field and he goes, man, this was discouraging.
You know what that could be called? That's being a weekend warrior. What do you think?
That's just a little bit of
30 plus, trying to go back to your college days?
It's not trying. We weren't trying to go back to our college days. It's just makes me angry.
Yeah.
From sitting. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my story. That's my confession for the day.
All right. Well, thank you. You are human. I'm glad to hear that.
Sometimes.
It happens to all of us, so it's good to share that kind of stuff. That's good. All right, so I wanted to ask you about, we'll lead in with, what's your morning ritual, or do you have one?
Do I have a morning ritual? Yes. So,
why do you think they're important, first off?
I think morning rituals are important because it eliminates thinking.
Okay.
Anytime you can eliminate having to think too much and having to run around too much as well, the more efficient you can make a process,
okay,
the less cognitive input you have to put in, the less you have to think, the less energy you have to burn thinking about things, right?
Okay.
So if you have a morning routine, then you don't have to think about doing it, which can be dangerous sometimes. People completely underestimate how much we are actually just reactive beings and not intuitive beings like we believe we are. Our systems that are automatic are much more active than we think. So
right.
Our reactions and how we deal with things. Anyway, sometimes that's a good thing. So the more efficient you can make something, the less you have to think about it, the less that you have to spend energy. So, and then also it can get your day started right, as long as if you're doing things to help get your day started right.
Right.
For instance, some things that you can do, and I don't do these things all the time. I do some version of them all the time, or every morning, but not as intentionally as I should or as I'd like to. Meditating in the morning, just breathing in the morning. So I make sure I do that every morning as my coffee's brewing. I'll just lay down on the floor and just close my eyes and breathe until I heard the coffee finish, and then I'm good to go. Yeah.
Dog.
And that's a version of meditating. I mean, meditating really is just breathing. Pay attention to your breathing, right? So breathing, and then I get my coffee, sit down on the couch, and grab whatever book I'm reading at the time and read for 45 minutes to an hour, and then make breakfast while I drink a little more coffee, and then eat breakfast, and then get started. Yeah, and that's typically, I can tell you pretty much when everything happens. I wake up at 4. I'm sitting down reading and drinking coffee by about 4:15. I'm making breakfast by between 5 and 5:30, and doing dishes / making breakfast, and then eating breakfast by 6:30, or finished eating breakfast by 6:30. So I can tell you why when everything happens, because it's just like
it's your routine.
It's what happens. Like that's what happens, and that's.
And you're right. You don't have to think about
it. Whatever you want to call it, but it's. I get up early so I can read and relax and get myself together.
Right.
Some people think it's crazy to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but if I woke up at 5, I could get up and drink coffee for 10 minutes and then start breakfast. But then I would feel like my day, I just like just that time there to ease to gather it together.
That's good.
So, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Those are basically what I do on the days that I don't have to be at the hospital. But on those mornings, I do. I'm in the habit now that I'm usually up by 4:15. So I don't get to read as long as you do, but I go down and I make my coffee and I'll sit and read for 15 or 20 minutes. And like you said, just kind of gather yourself and get up, and then I jump in the shower and I make my eggs. Real quick, that doesn't take very long, and I lay out my lunch and pack my bag, and I'm out the door. But yeah, I think that I find that when my routine is interrupted, where I can't do that my day just doesn't seem to go as well. I think that I feel just off, and I don't know. I don't want to say edgy, but just I don't know. Just I guess edgy is the word, because I didn't get to.
I can appreciate that.
Start my day off the way that I just like to ease into that kind of stuff. And I just find that my day just flows better. Yeah. If I can do that.
If you give yourself time to.
If you give yourself
break
time.
into it.
Yeah.
Good.
So, good job. All right. Now, on with the questions. Our first question.
What was that?
What's what? The first 2 questions are from our client, Hillary. And I think we talked about this in the past, but it's worth addressing again because I do think it's confusing for people. Is when should you eat your pre-workout meal and post-workout meal? 30 minutes before and after, an hour before and after, or...
No. Hillary, this is a good question. So, first, I'm always going to say it depends. And in this case, I guess it doesn't depend quite as much as far as like weight loss, weight gain, like what you're trying to do. For putting on weight purposes, it depends a little more in this instance, in my mind, than weight loss purposes. And the only reason that is because when you're trying to put on weight, then you just have to eat as much as you can. So the closer that you can eat in those times, it just allows for more food to be put in, shoveled in later or before. So, and then also it depends on who you are and how well you deal with food before your workout, especially. Definitely. So before your workout, some people can eat 10 minutes before their workout and they're fine. They can go and they can do whatever. And I'm not saying eat like a full-blown meal, you know what I mean? Like a huge meal, but, you know, maybe a protein shake and some nuts, or protein shake, some fruit, or a hamburger patty and some veggies, something like that. Like something moderate. For some people, if they eat within 2 hours, they feel sick. So it really depends on who you are. And with that said, I do think if you want to have energy and you want to you want to sustainably get through your workout, then I do think it's important to eat within 2 hours of your workout, about 2 hours. And I would say try and stay away from inside half an hour, because you do want, really it should be an hour, but I'm going to say half an hour. If you stay away from inside a half an hour, so what I mean by that is half an hour or more from your workout, then that gives your stomach time to digest. So when you digest food, blood runs into your stomach, so on and so forth. When you exercise, blood runs into your muscles. So if you're trying to digest and exercise and blood's trying to do this and do that, then you're just not able to digest quite as effectively, efficiently. Right. You might have a little bit of an upset stomach later, and you just might not know why. So anyway, it's not something that's going to hinder you terribly, but just to stay away from it. And that's why some people get upset, is because of that. Some people are more sensitive to that feeling. As far as after your workout, I used to, back in good old bodybuilding days, it would be get something in immediately. As fast as you can, you better get it in, because your body's not going to utilize it otherwise. And that's just crazy. So I still do that, mostly out of habit and a little bit. Actually, this last couple weeks I haven't. This last couple weeks I haven't had a protein shake after my workout, and I won't eat for probably half an hour to 45 minutes afterwards.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway,
kind of how I've been rolling too. I've just been going home and eating my meal. About an hour, 45 minutes to an hour after I train, and it's been fine. It's been absolutely fine. Yeah.
And I can't say that I feel like I haven't lost any muscle, I haven't lost any strength because of it. And those are things that you think, like, if I don't do this immediately after my workout, then I'm going to lose muscle and I'm going to lose strength. Like, it just hasn't happened. So anyway, with that said, as far as after your workout goes, it is important to get it within an hour. Get something in within an hour after your workout. You know what I mean? Because you do want to take advantage of that anabolic, your insulin response after your workout, and your muscles do need repair, so they do need amino acids, so on and so forth. And that seems to be the time, about an hour, within an hour after your workout, that it's most effective. So, within an hour after your workout, and then no later than 2 hours before your workout. And like I said, it depends on who you are for before your workout, as far as if it upsets your stomach or not. So, you have any thoughts on that?
No, I agree with everything that you've said. And And then the one thing that I would want to add in there is sometimes, things happen where your training you ate your meal, say at 3 o'clock, and you were supposed to train at, 5 or 5:30, but something happens and it gets delayed.
Yeah.
Then people freak out and they're like, oh my God, I haven't eaten in 3 hours, and is my workout going to suffer? So what most of the people out there recommend is that if you get hung in that point where something goes wrong in your schedule, is go with a liquid.
Something that's fast.
Liquid, like a little protein shake, or, even if you don't take a whole scoop, just do half a scoop, just some kind of liquid protein, get it in your system if your meal has been more than 2 hours from your outside of your training window, just so you have a little something in there.
Yeah.
And they said the same thing for a coach. I don't freak out if, I train at 4 o'clock on a Friday and we're meeting friends for dinner at, 6:30.
Yeah.
Then I'll go home and I'll have, half of a protein shake or something, just to get something in because I'm going to be eating my whole meal later.
Yeah.
So that's, and like you said, it's based on your goals too. I mean, for the average person, if you're eating a pretty, well-rounded diet, that you're going to have enough glycogen stored up that you're not going to tank your workout because you didn't get food on board. Okay, good
question.
Good question. Okay, and her second question is, she drinks a lot of water. How do you feel about all the water additives out on the market to use in your water? Like Mio, I'm trying to think, Crystal Light's got some.
Just flavorings. It depends. Well, so if your goal is to lose weight, which I say that all the time because that's just a lot of people's goals, and that's fine. That's why I'm trying to break it down. Like if your goal is to lose weight, those things can slow you down from losing weight, and here's why. And you can explain this a lot better than myself, but
you're going to get job.
But those things, those artificial sweeteners, Ace K, sucralose, stevia, what are the other ones? Erythritol, xylitol.
Right.
So anyway, those things
sucrose
still react the same in your body as sugar does. It still reacts the same. So even though you're drinking a Diet Coke or a Mio that has 0 calories, it's still, your body's still reacting to it somehow. So it's not, if that's your goal is to lose weight, then it's not, it could be hindering you from losing weight. Okay? With that said, if you look at it from a health perspective, it may not be the best thing either, because those things, a handful, there are a handful of artificial sweeteners, but they have been linked to cancer, right? And a lot of people have, I think people understand that about aspartame, but it's not just aspartame. I think that was just the one that got tested the most, and that's the one that just got beat over the head. But aspartame's not the only one. All of them have been linked to being carcinogenic.
Yeah, I think the latest one is Splenda and leukemia, if I remember right.
So, from a health perspective, from a weight loss perspective, you just have to make that decision. If you like the flavor, then that's fine. I'm not going to sit here and say that you're definitely going to get cancer. It's just a link, and it's mostly in rats. You know what I mean? I think that some of those, I'm not going to sit here and say 100%, but in my mind, and if I'm putting something that's artificial in my body, then I'm going to think it's not doing something right, right? So, what do you think? Like I said, I think you can explain that a lot better than myself.
I wanted to go back to the stevia.
Yeah.
Okay. So, stevia does come in a natural form. What's happened when stevia came, if people can remember, when stevia came out years ago, there was like a really bitter aftertaste to it. People didn't really like it. I distinctly remember using it for the first time and thinking, wow, I don't know. It's not as sweet as the rest of them. So, and I think that was the problem, was it wasn't as sweet tasting, and it had that little bitter aftertaste compared to the other sweeteners that were on the market. So what they have done, which the government always does, is they're like, okay, well, we need to do something about this, so we're going to cut it with an additive that's going to make it taste better. So when you're looking for stevia in its natural form is not necessarily bad to use. It is the least of the evils out there.
But it's probably tough to find.
So you have to either get it online, or you have to make sure. I did go to the grocery, when I read about this, I went to the grocery store and I started looking at the stevia on the shelves. And you will see that it will have monohydrate dioxide or something. So check your stevia, and if it's just stevia and it has no other additive in it, then I would say that's okay to use. To try to wean yourself off of wanting to drink things that taste that have a flavor to it, because that's the problem with plain water. People say, I just don't like plain water, it doesn't taste like anything. The second thing is that along with your point about artificial sweeteners, they trick your brain. So your brain is looking for, when you take in a 0 calories sweetened drink, your brain is looking for that sugar in there and that response that it gets. And they say that artificial sweeteners, because there's no calories attached to them, trick your brain, and it can actually make you crave more.
Oh, really?
Sweetness. Right. So, because your brain's looking for that and it's not getting it, so it sends out that signal that, all right, you fooled me. I want the response I get from a natural natural
so
sugar.
I want more of it.
So you want more of it. So it can actually increase your cravings for sweetness by relying too much on artificial sweeteners. Besides the fact that they are linked to cancer, they're, and bottom line, they're chemicals. There's nothing natural in them. So why would you ingest chemicals? Now, when I work with clients, when I'm trying to get them to drink more water, and they're used to wanting to use these sweeteners, and they come in using them, then something you can do is just try to wean yourself off of those. And how you can do that is, I recommend using natural lemon and a little stevia, natural stevia in your water, and it'll give it a flavor. And you can then wean yourself off to just drinking plain water. And it can be done. It just takes, it's like anything else, it just takes time and it takes effort. And plain water is ideally the best.
The way to go,
But that's something that a lot of people struggle with. I did. I was one of these big water additive users.
Really?
And, I mean, because it got me to drink, let's face it, gets you to drink more water.
More water,
But you can, over time, get yourself off of those. And, get to where you use just natural lemon or lime. That's great to put in your water. It's not artificial. It's the real thing. And, just work towards that. Check your stevia. You can grow a stevia plant yourself.
Really? Yeah,
so they sell those. But, that's something to look at when you're looking at stevia and all those other sweeteners.
Those are good points.
Okay?
Yeah.
Good answer. All right.
Good question.
Yes, good question, Hillary. The third question was something that was brought up to me years ago by someone who, when they found out that I was going to be doing resistance training and I was doing it, consistently and all that, is they go, don't you know that's going to give you arthritis? Yes. So, with that being said, the question from Judy is, does consistently weight training, resistance training, is it difficult on your joints, set you up for arthritis, and are you better off to do a variety of exercise?
So, it can. Yes, it can. if you're a power lifter.
All right, you better define what a power lifter is.
Or if you're an Olympic lifter. So if you're, and this is such a small amount. Well, so I'll just talk this through here. If you're lifting heavy weights regularly, and what I mean by heavy weights is like maximal weights, so close to your one rep max. So I mean within like you're struggling to get the bar off the ground for sets of 3, 2, 1, maybe 4 or 5. Struggling to do it. If you're doing that on a regular basis for long periods of time, then yeah, there's a very good possibility. Not a very good. It's going to affect your joints. Mostly going to affect the cartilage in your joints. Arthritis, yeah, it can bring about arthritis, but there are other things that are outside of your control or inside of your control that will also do that. So yeah, if you're lifting heavy weights on a regular basis, then yeah, the likelihood of that happening is going to happen. Now, with that explanation right there, that is a tiny percentage of. And when I say heavy weights, like you guys lift heavy, but it's not a struggle, right?
Right.
So you guys do sets of 8, sets of 6, sets of 5 sometimes maybe, but it's not a terrible struggle to do it. On your last set, that's usually your heaviest set, and you could probably still do 3 more, right?
Sometimes, yeah. There's occasions where I'm like, I can't do this one more time.
Occasions,
but not
right?
very often.
Right.
Not very often.
Yeah. So if you're lifting decent weight with good form on a regular basis, and that's where I was going to go next. If your form's bad with stuff, it's going to be another yes. Like you're definitely going to have joint issues. You're definitely going to, not I want to say definitely, but your probability of having arthritis issues down the road are going to be higher. So you have to, as long as you're not a power lifter lifting really heavy weights on a regular basis. What I mean by regular is
every day, 5 days a week.
Well, couple days a week, like 3 days a week, and again, that's maximal weights, like maximal heavy weights. Sets of 3, sets of 2, sets of 1, all the time. Or if your form's bad, and I want to say with weights for the most part, with decent weight. If your form is bad without heavy weights and it's really light, I don't want to say that's fine, but it's not going to affect you a whole lot because the weight's not putting as much tension on the joints. If you're not having to stabilize a whole lot and it's just really lightweight, then it sounds bad, but form's just not as important as far as worrying about arthritis, cartilage, and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, if your form's bad and you're lifting moderate to heavy weight on a regular basis, then yeah, there's a high likelihood that you're going to hurt yourself while you're doing it, number one, and then it's going to affect you long term. Long term, number
Down
2.
the road, you won't be able to, lift when you're older.
Yeah, because
it's so important to do that.
Yes.
Right.
However, if you're doing a progressive resistance training program and sometimes you're lifting somewhat heavy weights, but most of the time you're lifting just moderate weights, and you're doing it with good form, and it's not the same thing over and over and over again. That's also important. That's why a lot of bodybuilders get in trouble. They do the same thing over and over again. Like they just don't change much. They do bench press over and over again, and they do curls, barbell curls over and over again.
Is that why they say usually weightlifters are not flexible? Also, I've heard that.
That's part of the reason why, yes. But the main part of the reason is because they don't do any type of mobility or stretching or foam rolling or anything like that. No warming up, no cooling down, no nothing. They just get in and start lifting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they ride the recumbent bike for 5 minutes and then go lift. Sometimes
that's the warm up.
Yeah.
Or their warm up is just getting under the bench and starting off with 135 and doing that 10 times and then throwing 185 and doing that 10 times and then they're good to go. So and because I've been there, so that's the only reason I understand that. But that's why most big guys or muscle bound guys are stiff, is because they just don't do anything. Like you can be a really big dude and still be very mobile, but you just have to work on it. So lifting weights and being worried about doing that, it's just, what else are you doing with it? Making sure that you're keeping yourself mobile as you're doing it.
So
also
through stretching and foam rolling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mobilizing, foam rolling, dynamic stretching.
When you say mobilizing, what do you mean by that?
Mobilizing is different than stretching, because mobilizing is a joint, like making sure the joint's moving correctly and not necessarily stretching a muscle. Okay. Like stretching is stretching a muscle, like bending over, touching your toes is stretching, right?
Okay, so what's mobilizing? Can you give us an example?
I can. I don't know if they'll understand this, so I'm trying to find one. So, no, that's not going to be one. So,
do you have a video you can link?
Oh, there's definitely videos I can link. Yeah. But anyway, at the beginning of our warm-up, whenever we do our adductor stretch and then we rotate our arm up and down, so you're trying to mobilize your T-spine, rotating your arm up and down.
Okay.
Your thoracic spine.
Okay.
Okay, rotationally. Whenever, if you do like ankle rocks into a wall, trying to mobilize your Achilles or mobilize your ankle joint. So
okay, that's mobility work.
Yeah,
right.
that's mobility work, and typically mobility work is dynamic in nature in that you're moving through it. Okay. Like you're going through the motion. You're not just staying in a motion. Whereas most people think of stretching as like just staying in a position for an amount of time. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So. Okay. All right. Well, good. That's a good answer. Yeah, that was. I just happened to think of that. That question from many years ago, and she was like, "Don't you know my sister got arthritis from lifting weights, and she's got bad knees and hips now, and she's a mess." And I was just like, "Okay." Yeah, and then you don't want to blow it off because they're probably right, but you want to go, I want to see how they did it. Yeah, I want to know what they did. So, right. It's just about how you're doing it, and that's why you get a coach when you do things. You know what I mean? If you want to resistance train, either number one, study as hard as you can yourself. Right. And even then, a lot of times you have so much other things to focus on, you just don't. Right. But anyway, if you want to do it, just go get a coach. I've told people this before, sometimes I have Sharon tell me what to do, because a doctor is his own worst patient. I can tell people what to do, and I can look and I can see perfectly, but I can't look at myself and say if I'm doing things right? Yeah. I can't, it looks like I'm doing it right, but maybe I'm doing something wrong. So, it is what it is. Good. All right. Well, that's all the questions that we have today. We have several more, so we've got a couple of episodes coming up where if you have any questions that you'd like to send in, you can send them to me at Treves, Treves, at thriveforstrength.com. You can send them to Thrive's Twitter account, at the Thrive Pack. Hey. Did I get it right? Yeah. Okay. But thank you all for listening, and have a great weekend. Nice job.